Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Most Excellent 80s Movies Podcast. Want to skip those ads and get early access? Become a member at truestory.fm/join and discover all the other great perks that come with it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Long Rewind / the Most Excellent 80s Movie Podcast. That's right. It's a crossover episode. When you're dealing with a topic as big and as important as the one we're dealing with today, it takes not one but two podcasts to address it, and that's what we're bringing you today. So, I'm Dustin Morrow. I'm the co-host of the Long Ride. I'm joined by Krissy, Lenz, and Nathan Blackwell, the hosts of the Most Excellent 80s Movie Podcast. And we're going to talk to you today about the scourge, the infection, the fascination with ninjas that permeated the 1980s. What was that all about? We don't know, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. And by the end of this episode, you're going to learn stuff that you never knew you needed to know. And so we're going to start, though, by talking about our shows. So if you are finding this podcast in the feed of the Most Excellent 80s Movie Podcast, I will tell you just briefly about our show. It's called The Long Rewind. It is, like my compatriots here, a deep dive into the cinema of the 1980s. So we tend to dedicate episodes not to individual films, but to like motifs or trends or technologies or, sort of cultural impact. We're looking to provide some context as to why the cinema of that decade looked the way it did, why the films that were being made in that decade were being made. I'm a professor of film at Portland State University in Portland, Oregon, and one of my areas of scholarly study is actually the cinema of the 1980s. So I actually give this stuff some professional thought, believe it or not, and try to bring some of that some of that context, some of that experience of not just studying that, but also working with my students on these ideas to our show. So we drop every Wednesday morning. We have a new episode every Wednesday morning. We started out by doing a year-by-year deconstruction of the decade, which took us through so many episodes, and then we moved into like tackling a different topic in each week's episode. So, Krissy or Nathan, why don't you tell the people who are finding this episode on the Long Rewind feed a little bit about the Most Excellent 80s Movie Podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the podcast where a filmmaker and a comedian rewatch the 80s movies we think we love or might have missed with these our grown-up adult eyes to see how they hold up or not. We just choose based on vibes. We don't necessarily go through any like rationale as to why we choose what we choose. It just comes to us as if in a dream, and then we do those movies. And I am one of the directors and a performer at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, where I do comedy each week. And Nathan, tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
So first of all, I'm most known for my terrible self-introductions.
It's true.
But yeah, I'm a Phoenix-based independent filmmaker. And I thought that I was going to be the one who brings in the amusing commentary, but it's really just more like the filmmaker tidbits is my niche in the ecosphere of the podcast. And maybe more sarcasm than Krissy.
I'm more of an earnest recapping of the movie, and then Nathan chimes in with brilliant filmmaker insights and not a little bit of sarcasm. Yes.
Okay. You bring the sweet and Nathan brings the salty. Is that
apparently?
Yes.
Like, I still blister at giving movies ratings because
Mhm.
art is so subjective. So I don't want to come off as someone who really likes to put things in their place. I guess just my if Krissy and I have a double act, then I'm the darker one, I guess.
All right. Well, I should say that I think your podcast is delightful. I think that people who listen to your podcast would like our show and vice versa.
Hmm.
So wherever
Absolutely.
so wherever you're finding this episode, check out the other show too, because I think that you will also dig it. So should
Yeah.
we dig into ninjas?
My
This
Let's
is
dig
gosh.
this
in
was
with our
such a
pointy
I mean,
throwing stars.
Uh-huh.
yeah, exactly. I mean, breakdancing, body switching, teen horn dogs, teenagers getting slaughtered by serial killers, quicksand. I mean, these were the things that you found in every 80s movie, and ninjas goes on that list for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
For some reason, inexplicable reason that hopefully maybe by the end of this like 45 minutes will be a little more explicable. Ninjas were huge in the 80s. It was a real trend for a while there. There were a ton of these movies. Um, Let me start by asking you guys, what is your first memory of like exposure to just the idea of a ninja? Was it from like one of these movies? Did you see? How did you
I
learn? Can you remember how you learned about ninjas?
the moment where we went from pre-ninja life to ninja life.
Exactly.
No,
Hmm.
I can't. I feel like as a kid in the 80s, like you were just always aware of it. Like I don't remember the moment I first encountered dinosaurs or like knights in armor, but it was kind of in the same bin. It was there would be ninjas in like G.I. Joe, there'd be ninjas on TV, there'd be ninjas in like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, things like that. And it was just kind of
Hmm.
like as synonymous as like Vikings and things like that and
Yeah.
pirates. Um, yeah, so ninjas were always, and we were of course led to believe that ninjas were the super soldiers. Sure, maybe samurais were like the normal soldier, but ninjas were the mystical super soldiers. And I think even in the 80s we knew that they weren't historically accurate how they were portrayed in all the movies we saw.
Yeah, not at all from
Hmm.
what I understand.
Right.
What
But there
about
was
you,
still
Chrissy?
there
How
was
did you learn about ninjas?
I learned about ninjas through all the kid-friendly ninja content out there, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, Three Ninjas and Three Ninjas Kick Back, which is the story of three little, not even teenage, but little boys who become ninjas and fight to save their family and the world. Um, uh, Beverly Hills Ninja, let's say, like all of the comedy, kid-friendly ninja stuff. But after seeing these two movies, I think my knowledge of ninjas is woefully misrepresented.
All right. Yeah, for me, it's like Nathan. I remember them first through like toys,
Hmm.
the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow action
hmm
figures, which were like my
hmm
very favorite GI Joes when I was a kid. And I remember they started to show up on a lot of the TV shows that I watched. Like there were ninja episodes of Magnum PI and Knight Rider and the A Team. There was a whole TV series with inexplicably again with Lee Van Cleef uh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
called the Master.
That's right.
Co-starred Tim Van Patten, who went on to become a major Hollywood director, Game of Thrones and Sopranos and a bunch of other shows. Um, Very strange show. Also starred Sho Kosugi, I think, in the villain role, who is the lead actor in the two movies we'll be discussing most
Hmm.
extensively today. But yeah, there were toys. There was a ninja magazine that I used to buy on occasion for all of your latest ninja news.
Excellent.
I had a couple like
Was that weekly or monthly?
I think it was monthly. You can find I looked it up. in preparation for this, just to see if my mind wasn't playing tricks on me. Like, was there really a ninja magazine? And I found old issues on the Internet Archive, so you can look there. And I was
Awesome.
just like, what kind of articles were being written in Ninja magazine? What's funny about it is
Uh,
it's so clearly, it's a very, as you might imagine, violent magazine, but it's so clearly aimed at kids. And
yes.
it was through Ninja magazine that I got my ninja outfit that I had as a kid. I
Oh.
ordered from the back of Ninja magazine a ninja
Yay!
costume, and I had my parents were nuts, man. I had actual like steel throwing stars, which I used to
Me
run around in the
too.
backyard and chuck at trees to see if I could get them to stick in trees. And yeah, I had swords, like plastic swords. Yeah, tons of ninja action figures. I was all about it. I was fully committed
Hmm
to the ninja lifestyle as a young man.
Oh,
I
nice.
love it. It
Yeah,
was it
I
definitely. Oh, go ahead, Nathan.
so I down the street was a store called Karate Mart. And that I think my obsession with martial arts and really more of the like the culture and the fantasy and not the actual physical practice of anything athletic, just like my interest in skateboarding. As long as I didn't actually have to leave the house, then I was still interested. Um, I think it was because of Karate Kid that I really got into martial arts, and then also like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, got into just the knowledge of what are all the equipment and all the weapons and things like that. And so I would routinely go down to Karate Mart and just browse and look at some of the stuff. And then when I got older, I I this is still spoken of in my family. I decided just as a gag, I got everyone's Christmas gifts across the board at Karate Mart. So it was just something from like a Batman throwing star that was like the Batman symbol to like caltrops or throwing spikes and things like that. And yeah, it was a pretty good time.
So that's where ninjas go to do their shopping. Karate
Yes,
Mart.
Karate Mart, and it's still open. It's probably a front, just like Map World.
Yes. They're doing real ninja business in the back.
Hmm
I wonder if that's when the whole idea of the karate dojo in the strip mall exploded. I wonder if that
hmm
was an 80s thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I think there was definitely like a spike of martial arts and karate and ninjas, and they all kind of fueled each other, just of a general interest of young kids wanting to do this stuff and to
Hmm.
play. And then that became more ninjas to where it wasn't just about like the blinding smoke powder. It was now that they could like, use magic and double themselves and hypnotize people and cheat death and things like
And
that.
twirl themselves into the ground.
well, that's a good segue. Chrissy's, of course, referring to a key moment from Ninja 3, The Domination,
Hmm.
where a ninja to escape has to do this sort of I don't know how you would describe this maneuver, but yeah, he spins very quickly and manages to drill himself down into the dirt. Where he
Drills
goes from
themselves.
there is
Mhm.
unclear, but but somehow manages to escape. Uh, so we were talking before we went on the air here. Nathan had seen these movies before, but were these new movies to you, Krissy? Had you seen
Brand
any of
new.
this? Brand new. Okay.
No.
Were
Brand
you
new
were
to
you even
me.
aware of them? Had you heard of these things?
No, no, never. And I'm so thrilled that now they're part of me. Because
They
they're
will
never
never
leaving my
leave.
brain. No, never. They're perfect. Lovely, bizarre movies.
Yeah.
Uh,
Once you
but
see
no,
them,
I
you can't unsee them.
nope. And I was just gleefully consuming this brand new content to me.
Yeah. Nathan, had you seen either of these movies as a kid?
No, so not as a kid. They were too violent for me to get away with renting. And but I remember the box art. I remember from the video store, the box art, and seeing, along with just a number of horror movies I wasn't allowed to see either, of
Hmm.
these images and pictures. And so then when later in life, I was literally doing like research for a movie script that I was writing, where like genres cross over. I discovered these films and also just kind of like the wide treasure trove of Canon Films.
Hmm.
And so that was really where so this is probably the third time I've seen both of these films, or at least definitely the third time I've seen Ninja 3: The Domination. I think this is the second time I'm seeing Revenge of the Ninja. Yeah, and so I discovered these just a little less than a decade ago. And they are very close to my heart, along with some other ridiculous, campy martial art films as well.
Yeah, yeah. I found him as a kid and just absolutely loved him. I had no business watching these things when I was like 9 or 10 because Revenge of the
Hmm.
Ninja in particular is like really graphically violent, but I loved it. I mean, it didn't matter.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, I put on my little ninja costume and grabbed my nunchucks, my padded nunchucks that I had, and ran around my house, and I was Sho Kosugi for, in my head, and it was just great.
that's cool.
Um, so Nathan mentioned Canon Films there. For those of you listening that don't know what he's talking about, Canon Films was an Israeli, but Hollywood-based Israeli production company that produced just an endless number of genre films during the 80s. They were releasing at their peak something around 40 to 50 movies a year, which is just mind-boggling. It was run by two cousins, Menachem Golan, who handled the creative side, and Yoram Globus, who was the sort of financier. And they made all of the Charles Bronson movies and the Chuck Norris movies, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies from that era, and they were pretty much almost single-handedly responsible for bringing the ninja craze to
Hmm.
the U.S. In the early part of the decade.
They weaponized it.
They
They
did,
weaponized it.
they did, yeah. There was, I mean, there were. We should say that there were ninja movies predating the
Hmm.
'80s. There were B movies from Japan, and there was, of course, a rich history of Hong Kong cinema throughout the '70s. Lots of ninja movies, but in terms of the mainstreaming of ninjas and the sort of fascination with them in the United States, it really came from these movies made by Canon Films, which compared to those movies are high budget, but are really not high budget. Like Revenge of the Ninja was made for $500,000, which is a pretty low budget, especially for a movie that has so many stunts and effects.
Hmm.
Um, and that was a small budget even then. But there were other '80s ninja movies outside of Canon Films. There was a guy named Godfrey Ho that was just cranking them out. He made a ton of them. He would make these sort of like Franken movies where he would take footage from a bunch of different already existing movies and find really weird ways to cut them together and make them into new films.
I love that.
He was also doing a lot of like genre mashing. So he was trying to mix ninjas with science fiction and fantasy, and Ninja Terminator was one of his biggest titles from that era, and it is exactly what you think it is
Perfection.
from that name.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. um I think the first appearance of ninjas in an American movie was a film from the '70s called The Killer Elite. The first appearance of ninjas in an '80s movie was a Chuck Norris film called The Octagon, which is a pretty terrible movie, but has a secret ninja training camp in it, which became a thing.
Ooh.
There were always like in all of these movies, there were secret ninja. There were camps where you would see ninjas um,
Training in the
training,
background.
yeah,
Yeah.
practicing being ninjas. Um, yeah, often in like brightly colored ninja costumes, which seemed always to
Hmm.
me to be a confusing approach to.
I feel like there's in Ninja 3 I feel addresses this, that there's nighttime ninjas and daytime ninjas.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
feel like what we really see in Ninja 3 are daytime ninjas. they
Should there be daytime ninjas?
well, it's possible that's why they died out.
Yes. What I was so shocked at how visible the ninjas were in all of these movies. Like, isn't the point of a ninja to be like lost in the shadows, which
Of
is why the
course,
all
yeah.
black for you to be a nighttime ninja. But like these ninjas are like scaling buildings and stuff, but they're just like you could be like, oh, there's a ninja
In
right,
broad
it's right
daylight.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the ninja? He's right there in that tree. I
Yeah.
can see him clear as day. He's hiding behind a bush, but he's totally visible. There's
Yeah.
nothing hidden.
That was the downside of daytime ninjas.
Yes, indeed. Killing
Yeah.
people on a golf course, there's not a lot of places to hide.
Think of how good a ninja you would have to be, though, to be promoted to daytime ninja from nighttime ninja.
Or how much trust they had in you. Yeah.
Exactly. Way easier. I would have to assume that you start as a nighttime ninja, and it's only after, proving yourself through mini missions that you get bumped up to being a daytime ninja.
Right.
And the top sphere is a brunch ninja. You ninja at brunch
I feel
hours.
like each of these categories, you're getting older and your back is going out. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna be a daytime ninja now. I'm not gonna sneak
I can't
around
stay
and
up. I can't stay up all
yeah.
night.
And then you get the brunch ninja, and you're just really just showing up for brunches.
Yeah.
All right, so the first Canon Films ninja movie was a '81 movie called Enter the Ninja. This guy brought this concept to Menachem Golan, who had never heard of ninjas, and I think ninjas are actually. So Nathan was alluding to this. I think they're kind of before this, kind of a pretty obscure footnote to sort of ancient Japanese military history, essentially.
Hmm.
And this guy brought this concept of Menachem Golan, who immediately saw dollar signs, so much so that he decided to direct this film himself. They went to the Philippines. He realized that this guy couldn't act very quickly and fired him as the actor, kept him on as the ninja double, and said, "Well, I need somebody to replace this guy right away because I'm in the middle of shooting. Who's in town?" Legendary spaghetti western star Franco Nero, Italian actor Franco Nero, was there in the Philippines at a film festival being given some kind of award. And so Menachem called him up and said, "Hey, can you come over and star in this ninja movie?" And he did. And that's how Canon Films often made movies, just absolutely flying by the seat of their pants. That movie was also the first big movie from Sho Kosugi, who went on to star in the two movies we'll be talking about. Sho was the first, I think, Asian American to headline an American, not Asian American, Asian actor to headline an American film, which is sort of mind boggling when you think about it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's
2 years
awesome.
later, we got Revenge of the Ninja, directed by
Yay.
Uh-huh.
directed by Sam the Sham Furstenberg, who went on to make American Ninja, and the Break-In movies and a lot of other movies for Canon Films. Just an
Yeah.
absolute genius of low budget genre cinema. Had only made one movie to this point, and it was like a relationship drama. And Menachem Golan called him up because Sam is Israeli, and Menachem was always trying to promote Israeli filmmakers, and said, "Do you think you could direct an action movie?" And Sam had never done anything like that, but said, "Absolutely." And so off to Salt Lake City he went to with $500,000 to make a ninja movie, and boy did he ever!
Oh yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is, I think,
I
the Citizen Kane of ninja movies. Like Ninja 3 is fun, but Revenge of the Ninja has the actual goods, I would say. There is
hmm
just some I will put this up against any action movie of the era. Yes, it has a terrible script. Yes, the acting is terrible. Yes, the narrative is a mess. But man, the action sequences themselves, especially considering they were made for like $5, are just eye melting. Like they're incredible, I think.
hmm And there's so many surprises where you're just like, why does this gallery owner hold a gun with him all the time? And what is happening? Why do they want to start a gallery in the United States with someone who's clearly a ninja? What are they gonna sell? And then it turns out it's dolls. Like I was just at every turn of this movie, I was like, wait, what?
I
How?
liked it in a movie full of ninja action and magic and mysticism that your issue is with the opening of the gallery.
Yeah, it's true. I was like, what is the business plan? I want to see some P&Ls from this doll selling business.
Well, it ended up being a front for drug smuggling, right? So
Right.
Mhm.
they were smuggling cocaine or heroin or something in to the United States through the dolls, um,
Uh-huh. I like I
behind
like
Show's back.
I like
Yep.
to think that every exhibit, because this is like years later, every exhibit that they have is also filled with heroin. And so he's like mystified that this place keeps getting robbed.
Yes. Why do people are really keen to buy these dolls, but they're not really the clientele I thought they would be. So,
Yeah. So for those of you that haven't seen it, first of all, shame on you. But secondly, it's about Sho Kosugi plays a Japanese art curator, I guess, who teams up with this American financier to open said art gallery in Los
mhm.
Angeles, aka Salt Lake City. It's the only it provides views of Los Angeles where you'll be like, wait, do they have mountains like that right outside Los Angeles? Um, and they're smuggling drugs in through the gallery, and the you come to learn that the American financier is a ninja, as is Show, and the mafia somehow gets into the middle of this, and it becomes like ninja versus the mob,
Mhm.
and all of which is just like stuff you can kind of close your eyes and ignore until you get to the next big ninja action sequence, which doesn't take long because it's every 3 or 4 minutes. You get some kind of just amazing stunt sequence or fight
Mhm.
scene with some of the most colorful looking stuntmen you'll ever see in a movie.
Oh my God.
The
They
village
are
people
shocking.
basically is what my
Yeah.
my wife is always like. Is the village people scene came on? There's a scene in a park, a public park, where
Yes.
they fight like a Native American, a cowboy, a guy
A
on roller
biker.
skates, a
Hmm.
Yeah.
biker. Yeah, it is full on the village people for sure.
And I wrote down for that scene, this is a playground. They're throwing ninja stars around on
They're gonna leave one of those behind.
they are, and some kid's gonna find it, and it'll be like Dustin running around and chucking it at trees.
That's right. That scene, when you've seen this movie as many times as I have, your eyes starts to wander away from the action, and I can tell you that that scene has some of the greatest extra work you'll
Hmm.
ever see in a movie. So, should you have the opportunity to see it again or want to go to YouTube and punch in that scene, just watch the people behind because I'm sure that these are just the people that happened to be in the park
Hmm.
when the cast and crew showed up, because they are smiling and laughing and it
Hmm.
is some of the funniest reactions, some of the most inappropriate reactions you can imagine to the bloodbath that is happening in the foreground of the scenes.
I love it. And that whole scene is so weird because they go to them to try and get information uh about the ninja gang or the
Yeah,
mafia, one
it's
or
like
the
I know
other.
some people who might know about the situation.
So they go to them and then immediately just fight to the death. It's like that's not how you shake down street toughs. Like,
Uh-huh.
but okay.
Yeah. Once they do beat them down, they make no further efforts to secure information from them. They
No.
just wander
Hmm.
away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just leave these bodies here in this public park for the children to deal
Uh-huh.
with.
That's right. That
Yeah, that,
scene ends with Sho pulling a throwing star off of his belt as a belt buckle, and then
Hmm.
chucking it into a guy's hand. And I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, and I spent much of my youth searching for a throwing star belt buckle. And when I couldn't find one, I just made one myself by duct
Excellent.
taping my one of my throwing
Uh-huh.
stars to my belt because I just thought that was the most badass thing ever.
It's very cool. Yes, it's very cool. And it just shows that a ninja, like a Boy Scout, is always prepared. You never go anywhere without at least one throwing star on your person,
That's right. So,
even if you're
so
just a
Krissy,
gallery owner.
as a first time viewer of this masterpiece, what else struck you about Revenge of the Ninja? What did you come away
Oh
from it
gosh,
with?
I was fascinated with the mafia characters. They were so bizarre and like cliche.
Hmm.
Uh, but there's a moment at the end where they're doing the big siege of the mafia tower,
Hmm.
and there's like two old women who are hanging out with them, and he's like, "Oh no, my grandmas! I gotta get my grandmas out of here." And no one ever acknowledges that there are these two older women there, but they're in the middle of the fighting, and I'm just like, what is going on at this mafia headquarters? That they're having like Sunday dinner with the grandmas,
Yeah.
and the ninjas are attacking.
Yeah. And
I
and
love
frankly, why do they have their own skyscraper? I mean, that's pretty
right. They're
what
very,
That's a
mafia
lot
very
of
has.
overhead.
successful.
It is a lot of overhead, a lot of real estate.
And a lot of hallways that you got to patrol.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need a lot of guys to
Yeah.
watch out for that many hallways. But I loved the little kid, and I loved Catherine, who was his assistant, question mark.
Is this the blonde?
The blonde, the
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
the with
unpaid
the
intern
blonde Deanna Troy is what I
yeah,
wrote down.
the
Yeah,
woman who the woman who comes to karate practice without her pants.
right.
with no pants,
With no
just
pants.
but
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
pantyhose,
Yeah, well, it was the
and
80s.
like yes,
hmm
and
The
she's
the
like,
line, yeah, the line was, "If you want to work out, you forgot your pants." Hmm.
Yeah, she has a great fight with the kid later, Kane.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love an adult versus kid fight scene.
Yeah,
me too.
who doesn't? Yeah, especially when the kid is winning. It's great.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, Kane's amazing. Kane grew up to be a very successful stunt performer, an actor in his own right in Hong Kong cinema, and was a like one of the earliest champions of American Ninja, not American Ninja Warrior, but whatever the original version of the Ninja Warrior show was.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he's quite a talent. He and his father had a falling out at some point,
Oh,
and stopped working together, which is a bummer because it's
Oh,
fun to
so over
see
Kathy.
he and his little brother Shane were in a lot of shows, early movies. They show up over and over again, usually, and they usually get their own fight scene at some point, which is
excellent.
super fun to see.
What do you love more than a ninja? A kid ninja.
A kid ninja, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And a blonde pantsless ninja.
Yeah. Well, as a
hmm
kid as an aspiring ninja kid, I took great inspiration from watching Kane's success. I mean,
Hmm.
I love the scene where he beats up the bullies
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
me
at
too.
the beginning of the movie. It's like the
And
first
it,
scene you get in the United States is
right.
Kane.
It just cuts to him being assaulted by bullies.
Yeah.
And Grandma just stands there watching. Who beats up what kids beat up another kid in front of a grandma?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And later we learn that Grandma is kind of part ninja. She has like some
Hmm.
ninja abilities,
Oh yeah.
and she just stood back and let this all happen.
Well, I think she was very proud of him. There's a cutaway shot to her where she's like clapping her hands and smiling, and
hmm
Hmm.
I think she's
Practice
thrilled.
kills.
That's right. Look at him
Yes.
go.
Uh-huh.
Look at him go. I also was really struck by the deadliness in both movies of hot tubs, and
Yes.
just the overabundance of hot tubs and how they were used to like hold people prisoner,
Yeah, again, I
as
wonder if
well
this
as
was
murder them.
an 80s thing,
Yeah. I
maybe.
wrote down the ancient ninja execution of hot tub spray death.
Yeah.
Yes.
They tie Kathy into the hot tub, and then there just violent spraying of water in her face.
Yeah, it's real subtle. It's
Yeah, it's
you won't get it at all. It's real subtle.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, and then there's a yeah. Actually, that's you're
there's
right.
three
There's
hot tubs between the two movies. There's three hot tub
yeah,
scenes.
because there's a hot
Yeah.
tub murder earlier in Revenge of the Ninja.
Yes,
hmm
Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
and I don't know if we explained this, but there is no real correlation between Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, and Ninja 3. The only thing is that they're made by Canon Films and Sho Kosugi is in them.
Yeah,
That's the only connective tissue. There's not reoccurring characters.
yeah, yeah. But they are tied together. There's a Kino,
Spiritually.
yeah, Kino Lorber is releasing a new like 4K box set of these three movies of the Ninja trilogy. So yeah,
Excellent.
they are yeah. So place your orders today. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so they are held together. Although you're right, there's like they have nothing in common beyond sharing the lead actor.
Right.
What did you guys think of what were your impressions of Sho Kosugi as a leading man?
I
I go ahead, Chrissy.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought he was great and was like very impressive in all of his like
Mhm.
fighting stuff, but he was just so naive in his like he was so easy to manipulate in his character. In the first movie, he's just like, "Oh, my whole family is dead. Go with you and start a gallery." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Oh, just stock these dolls in this neon filled room. Okay, I'll do it. Like he just lets himself get bossed around so thoroughly, and then it takes him a long time to be like, "Oh, my son is missing and my mother's dead. I guess I better put on my ninja outfit and solve these problems." And it's like, you weren't really paying attention, my friend.
Mhm.
Well, he turned his back on his ninja history, right?
He did, and
That's
That's
why
he
true.
the
shouldn't have done
sword
that.
was sealed, and he had to break the seal on the sword,
hmm
and it was a big moment. He was
It was
seeking
sealed with
to.
like a twist tie.
It was, yeah. Well, how else are you going to do it?
Right.
He was seeking to escape Japan to get
We're not
away from his
barbarians,
history.
Chrissy.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
He couldn't have Kane accidentally getting
Uh-huh.
into his weaponry and hurting himself with it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Uh, yeah, I think he's despite his obvious challenges as a thespian, he's
hmm
a real engaging screen presence.
Yeah. I really like him, but I feel like the thing that is holding him back from being like a household name in the 80s is the acting part. He's just
Yeah.
just a little wooden.
hmm
He's charismatic and I love every scene he's in,
hmm
but he's definitely a little wooden on the acting part.
Yeah.
Um and I mean there's I'm sure the language barrier has something to do with it, but I mean, we're living in an age of at this time in the 80s where we've got Schwarzenegger, we've got Van Damme later in the 80s and 90s. We can take an accent and we can
hmm
take, but yeah, I feel like that was the thing holding him back just a bit was he, just a certain degree of agency with the acting, you know?
Yeah. I think the other thing that hurt him is that he became too closely tied to the ninja movie craze. And
Mm,
so that when it started to wane near the end of the 80s, he struggled to
mm,
shift his image.
yeah.
He made a movie called Rage of Honor, which is a Canon Films movie, which I actually find totally it's bananas like all their movies and very entertaining, but it didn't find any success, and it's because he's playing like a secret agent. You know, he tried to kind of
hmm
recast himself in a few
Mm-mm.
movies as sort of like a James Bond character, and it just didn't work for him,
hmm
and he essentially basically drifted out of the film industry at in the sort of late 80s early 90s, which is a bummer because he was kind of an intriguing screen presence, I
Hmm.
hmm
thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I thought he was very fun to watch.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
loved him.
so that's Revenge of the Ninja. I would say if you're new to ninja movies, what took you so long? But that's where to start because that's the one that I think is there's some real genius in its fight choreography, its stunt
Hmm.
sequences. There's just some stuff that you're like, wow, somebody actually did that. Like they didn't have there was nobody on wires. There was no like $10 million stunt team. That's just like
Yeah.
three guys like hanging off the back of a truck getting dragged at 50 miles an hour through the
Getting
If
streets of
yeah,
Salt
dragged
Lake
by
City.
a van. Like
Yeah.
that scene was bananas and
There's
it
some
just kept
wild
going.
stuff. Yeah.
you
They're throwing axes at each other. Like it's nuts. So that whole scene, I
yeah.
didn't even take any notes. I was just like,
If you want the thrill of an action scene where you are legitimately concerned for their safety,
Yeah. This
this
is your
yeah.
is your
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the unsung hero of this movie is Steve Lambert, who was the stunt coordinator and the lead stunt man, and um he is the double for most of the ninjas in the film, which is why if you look closely, you can see that most of the ninjas look
Yeah, you don't even
American.
have to look closely.
Yeah, you don't have to look too closely. They do not look like they're from Japan.
Mhm.
But yeah, he did all of the choreography for all of the stunts. I think Sho Kosugi choreographed the fights, but Steve Lambert's stunt work in this movie is wild, and he only had like a couple stunt guys with him, so it's like the same three guys over and over again, which is one of the fun things about these
Mm.
ninja movies is that it's the same ninja getting killed over like that
Uh-huh.
opening sequence in Japan
In
where
Japan, quotation marks with
yeah
the palm trees that
yeah the palm
that
trees.
Tokyo, Japan is known for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there are like what 30, 40 ninjas killed in that scene, and I
So
think
many.
they're all Steve Lambert
Uh,
basically, just over and
yeah.
over again. Yeah, it's it's quite a thing. So after Revenge of the Ninja, the third film in the Canon Films trilogy is the mystifying, the
Mhm.
perplexing Ninja 3, the Domination.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we can figure out what was being dominated. Uh, but yeah, as Nathan said, even though it has the number 3 and it really doesn't have anything to do with the previous movies. This is a film about a telecom line worker slash um what do you call her, like a
Aerobics
aerobics
instructor?
instructor, yeah, I
Hmm.
guess,
Yeah.
who becomes possessed by the spirit of an evil ninja and starts knocking off all of the police officers who were partly responsible for the death of said ninja. And Sho Kosugi shows up as the hero ninja who is trying to track this
Hmm.
spirit down and put a final end to it. So it ends up being kind of a combination of a ninja movie and Flashdance and The Exorcist. And
Yes.
Yes.
it is friends, it is an unholy mix, I have to
It it
tell you.
I put it in the running for most 80s movie.
Yeah. Her
It
apartment alone has neon
yes.
and video game arcade games
And
and
like ceiling
Mannequins.
ducks and
mannequins.
mannequins. Yeah, and then like a was it a Patrick Nagel painting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you had to have one of those in the
Yeah.
80s. If you
yeah.
didn't have one, they came to your house and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, I'm always curious when I introduce this movie to somebody who doesn't really know what's coming. Um, so I'm curious to hear from Krissy about were you just like on because I find this movie on a scene to scene basis to just be one of the most mystifying movies I ever made. You're just like, wait, what? Is this the same movie? What is happening now?
Hmm.
Why is this happening now? Was that your experience of it?
Oh, yes. I was thoroughly not understanding anything that was going on the whole time, even though I took extensive notes and it was like very like carefully parsing each scene. Like I didn't get that the ninja was evil. Like at the very beginning, even when he's like killing the people on the golf course, I just assumed that a ninja would have good intentions, and so he was clearly killing
The honorable.
bad people. Yeah, like I imbued him with honorable intentions. And then at some point, while he's being shot 150 times, I was like, maybe he's not the good guy.
Uh-huh.
So I had to like figure that one out after a long, long time. When he killed the helicopter and and kicked it out of the sky, I was like, wait a minute. He's just killing people willy-nilly. Like, I don't think he's on assignment for some sort of
It's
noble cause.
I feel like maybe he was on it because it seems like they've got a VIP, the guy who's golfing, and he's got
Mm-hmm.
security. The fact that
Mm-hmm.
he's got security, that's the only information that the movie gives me that he was a target.
Right.
But it's like one of the it's like the Grand Theft Auto game to where it just spirals out of control. You were doing one thing and then it just got completely out of hand to where he's fighting the entire police force, multiple cars, a helicopter. It's like, oh boy, this is really getting out of hand. Um,
Yeah.
and the thing that is endlessly delightful to me and to some of our audience that may live in Phoenix, that this is all shot in Papago Park. This is just across the
I
street from the
knew I
Phoenix.
recognized
It's
it.
it's across the street from the Phoenix Zoo. I have legitimately walked in some of the places that they have filmed these scenes in. So yeah, it's nuts the kind of stuff that they're doing. They're throwing cars into these lakes. Um, it's there's gun battles, the helicopter fight. It's crazy pants.
It
Yeah, he,
is.
he he scales a palm tree in order to leap onto a helicopter to
Hmm.
disable the helicopter. Yeah, it's wild. And then at the end
And
of
then
the
he
scene, as Krissy alluded to earlier, he drills himself into
into the ground.
into the ground in order to
Into the ground.
disappear.
Yeah. Which is very impressive. And again, I was like, oh, well, he must be a good guy if he's got all these skills. And then it's like, oh no, he's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That really changes things. I didn't know what his mission was as far as being an evil ninja. I think he
Right.
was just up to no good. But I really spent a lot of time being like, well, who was that guy in the golf cart? Like, why
Yeah, I
was he?
assumed he was like a hired assassin. I mean, that was sort of a ninja. Like historically, that's a ninja thing, right? That they're
Right.
Mhm.
like these hired assassins, and I assumed he was supposed to kill whoever that golfing yuppie was.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the fact that a ninja movie opens on a suburban golf course is just a wild
Yeah, in
thing.
broad daylight
Yeah, in
again,
broad
but
daylight.
that's a daytime ninja thing,
that
like
is
Yeah,
he's
a
not gonna
daytime
wait
ninja.
till
That's right.
night. He's not gonna wait till night. He's gonna wait till it's bright. And
Yeah,
he's not dressed in black, he's dressed in gray.
yeah,
Mhm.
Um and at the beginning of the scene, it seems like he's got like a secret cache of weapons that he's opening up. And it seems like it's in the same mountain region where the golf course is.
Mhm.
So is that just super convenient, or does he have multiple, like, is his hideout just happen to be right near this golf course? Or does he have like multiple like safe houses?
I'd
I
like to
don't
think
know,
he has multiples.
but you bring up a question I've always had about ninjas, though, which is, and this is especially true for the final act of Revenge of the Ninja, where the two ninjas infiltrate the mafia tower. They have an astounding amount of weapons and things tucked into those
Hmm.
costumes, which don't appear to have any pockets, from what I can tell. And they have like a number of swords and throwing stars and nunchucks and flamethrowers.
Hmm.
One of the ninjas at the end of Revenge of the Ninja has a full size body double of himself,
Yes, more
like
than one.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's one that comes out of a hot tub. Oh,
Hmm.
you forgot about that one, didn't you, Nathan? There's actually like
Oh,
four
I
hot
definitely
tubs.
did not. No, that I included that one as the third. But maybe I'm forgetting another one. Yeah, he has
I
Well,
like
think
a
we've
so.
full
got
mechanical
we've got
arm.
the you've got the Ninja 3 hot tub with the cop
Yes.
that gets
You've got
killed.
you've got the torture execution hot tub.
Torture execution. Then you've got the hot tub where the murder is in
Hmm.
Revenge of the Ninja, where he kills the mafia nephew and
That's the
his
one
And you
I'm
got
and
forgetting.
his
That's the one
girl.
I'm forgetting.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the one at the end where the robot arm comes out
Right.
of.
the roof,
Yeah,
the roof hot tub.
where was he keeping the robot arm? That's what I want to know.
Uh-huh.
Where did
You
he
don't
have
want to
the
know.
where did he have the flamethrower? Yeah. So it's it's wild. I mean, I do remember as a kid trying to pack a bunch of weapons into my ninja costume
Hmm.
and finding it to be very
Real
difficult.
jangly.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a real
Yeah.
jangly
Real hard
ninja.
to move. Yeah.
He carries the his ninja tools around in a briefcase for a lot of the movie.
Uh-huh.
When he's
Which makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he's got a little briefcase of ninja weapons in there. So obviously when he's being a business ninja, he couldn't fit all of those things into his suit.
Yeah. Maybe he's just got a series of fanny packs like
Yeah.
Mhm.
around his chest, just one on top of the other. Something like that. So okay, so you are that is the opening scene of Ninja 3, which has got to be
Hmm.
one of the great openings of any 80s movie.
Yes.
It's just like 15 minutes of utter mayhem.
Hmm.
Of a ninja fighting an endless number of cops and eventually going down. And then he transfers his soul into Breakin' star Lucinda Dickey. Lucinda Dickey was a professional dancer. She was in Grease 2 and some other things. Um, and was discovered basically by Menachem Golan, and he thought she was going to be the next big thing, and he went all in on Lucinda Dickey because she starred in Breakin' and then went immediately to the set of with like 1 day's break. She went to the set of Ninja 3 and then into Breakin' 2, and like he really
uh,
thought she was going to blow up. It is funny that she is at the center of these two incredible cinematic trends,
Hmm.
and that's like all she's
breakdancing and
known for:
ninjas, yeah.
breakdancing and ninjas.
And to give you an idea of like the pace in which Canon makes films, it's so they liked her in Breakin', they put her in Ninja 3, and then they put her in Breakin' 2. All three of these movies came out in 1984.
Yeah, it's wild.
Hmm.
Yeah,
She works hard. She does her job. Like she's there to work and to dance away the evil demon inside her. But the most negative thing I have to say about Ninja 3 The Domination, and I know that's a shocking thing to hear that there's anything negative about it at
yeah.
all. But one of the cops takes a liking to her and keeps
Ugh.
I
asking
know where
her
you're
out.
going. I know where you're going.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And she keeps saying no. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you don't need no man.
And then it just
Uh,
flips a switch.
yeah. Well, he negs her. He's like, fine. If you don't want to go out with me, then get out of my car in the middle of the street.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, oh, well, when you put it like that, I'm in love with you.
Uh-huh.
This isn't what I thought you were going to say. That I think I
Oh,
would argue.
okay.
That's horrible. I think there's one more disturbing thing in the movie, which is they have a love scene where he takes off his
Oh, yeah.
shirt. He is like
Uh-huh.
the hairiest man
It's,
who's ever acted in a movie. I mean, he
he
takes
is
off his shirt and he
hirsute.
looks like he's wearing a sweater underneath his sweater.
Hmm.
And and then
She,
they get V8 involved, which was
yeah.
a big time. I'm sure it's still around, but it was a big time 80s drink. It was tomato juice, basically,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
spicy
Yeah.
tomato
spicy
juice.
tomato juice. And they involve 9.5 weeks, Mickey Rourke, Kim Basinger style. They involve this tomato juice in their lovemaking process.
Love
And
making?
and let's just say that a guy this hairy should not get anywhere near tomato
Yeah,
juice when
like
it
yeah,
comes
No.
to
thick liquid.
Mm.
yeah, it is
So
a
gross.
it's calling it problematic is being generous. It's a pretty disturbing
It is.
scene, way more than
Hmm.
like any of the possession stuff that
Right.
happens later in the movie. But yeah, it's a movie full of just one insane element after another. There's a haunted video game. There's a scene where they're trying to exercise her and she starts doing flips on this
Uh-huh.
chain.
With James
I
Hong, no
love that
less.
part.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
James
Yeah.
Hong from Big Trouble in Little China and so many other movies. Yeah. It is just one uh, wild sequence after another.
Yes.
Yeah, magical. Um,
Hmm.
I I showed this movie when I was like 10 years old. I showed this movie at a birthday party.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah, and
Hmm.
all the guys were really into it, and the girls were bored stiff, as you can imagine, until the
Hmm.
like the exorcism element came into it, and then they started to get into it. And I realized later, I was like, oh, I can see like on the face of it as a kid, I was it was not, it was lesser Ninja to me, Ninja 3. Like it
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
compared to Revenge of the Ninja, this was lightweight stuff. But I kind of get the, even though I think it's crazy, I kind of get the intention. I can understand where Golan and Globus were coming from. They were like, we've got this very male driven action genre.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Maybe if we make the lead ninja a woman, we make her an aerobics instructor, and we put in this whole other genre of genre filmmaking, maybe we can bring in a broader audience. So I get it, but I've seen interviews with Sam Furstenberg, who directed it, and even he's like, it was a bad idea. It was never going to work. It was just the strangest idea to
Uh-huh.
combine these things.
I think that's why I prefer it though, is because each scene is more banana pants than the last.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
like Revenge of the Ninja is on a straight course of an action film, but when you get long aerobic scenes and like exorcist scenes and just like crazy character logic, I find that I personally enjoy Ninja 3 more.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you really have to ask yourself what is going to happen next because it could be anything.
Hmm. I was hoping so the evil ninja is basically possessing Lucinda Dickey. Um, and what I would have loved is if the evil ninja found himself in the middle of having to teach an aerobics class.
Yeah.
or
Oh shoot, what do I do? Okay, now this.
or do telecom line work, which is
Uh-huh.
Yes.
which is her
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
job. Like, I don't know anything about telecommunications. I am but an ancient ninja. Yeah, that would be that's on the cutting room floor. I'm sure it probably
Hmm.
exists. Probably got
I want to
access.
see it. I demand.
Yeah. Where's the directors at it? So let me throw a couple other titles at you just to see if I'm just curious if either of you have seen these or are aware of these. These were the other
Well, let me
big
get my
ninja
pen.
movies. Okay. Uh, American Ninja. Are you familiar with this one?
Familiar, yes. Was that that was Dudikoff, right?
Yes, Michael
Right,
Dudikoff. Yeah.
Michael Dudikoff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm familiar, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, his first movie as a lead. It's also Golan Globus. It's also Sam Furstenberg, and it's thoroughly delightful.
Mm.
If you enjoyed the two movies we've been talking about today, you will inevitably also like American Ninja, which also has a killer opening. Like Canon knew that you had to like hook your audience in the first 10 minutes or risk
Hmm.
losing them. Yeah.
Hmm.
What about Gymkata? Gymkata. Do you know this movie?
Yes, I know it.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
I've tried to get Krissy and I to cover it since the beginning of our podcast. Not super passionately, but it's one that's been on my radar that I've seen clips of and again haven't seen yet. But
Yeah.
basically, they take it can we've seen movies where it's like, oh, we've got a boxer, let's put him in a movie and make him an action star, and guess what? He's going to do some boxing.
Yeah.
This is them doing that with a gymnast.
Yes.
Which I,
Yeah.
I love. I can't wait.
It's the deadliest martial art, combining
Yes,
gymnastics and karate into
right. If
Gymkata.
you just add up actual injuries, it's the deadliest gymnastics is the deadliest martial art.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. It is cuckoo. It might be crazier than Ninja 3 even. It's
Wow.
not explicitly a ninja movie, but it has a ton of ninjas in it and it has a lot of ninja action. So it has a lot of ninjas in all colors of the rainbow. So if you're
Mm.
confused by the gray ninja
Hmm.
costume, you'll be really confused by the bright yellow one. Um, Pray for Death, which was which you probably aren't familiar with, but it is great. It is Sho Kosugi's first movie he made after he left Canon Films when they wouldn't let him do
Hmm.
anything besides ninja movies. He went and made his
Yes.
own ninja movie, and it's another, if you like Revenge of the Ninja, you'll dig it. Shane and Kane Kosugi are in it. They play his sons again, and it's
Yay.
similar. It's not quite as good as Revenge of the Ninja, but it's
Yeah.
very good, and I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, I've seen that one, but I remember much less about it than these others.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not quite as good, but it is
It's got the best box art out of all of them.
it does. Yeah. Well, his mask, he has a really ornate
Hmm.
ninja mask in it.
Yeah.
That's like fully, it's almost like a metal helmet that
Yeah,
he
he
can.
looks like Shredder.
Yeah, he does look like Shredder.
Oh.
Yeah, enough so that you kind of wonder if the people that designed Shredder might have seen the movie. Like that's how much he
Hmm.
looks like it. And then a couple that were discovered that were made in the 80s but discovered later. I'm curious if you know these. Miami Connection.
Hmm.
Oh, Nathan is always trying to get us to do that one.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen that one maybe about 4 times.
sweet.
Never
So
seen it.
for our listeners that don't know it, it was a movie made in Orlando, despite being called Miami Connection, by a guy who like wrote, directed, starred in it. He was a guy who had a franchise of these strip mall karate dojos, and I think his idea was like making this movie would help him promote those. I think that's was his
Hmm.
initial intention, and it was completed and just lost to time. It was a low budget hunk of junk that went straight to video. And a print was discovered by the guys that run Alamo Draft House, the famed Austin-based movie theater uh, franchise, and they absolutely loved it. They thought it was one of the funniest, most unintentionally funny things they'd
Hmm.
ever seen, and they gave it a complete restoration and released it back into theaters and then onto
Yeah.
physical
It's so
media. And it is totally worth seeing. It is
yeah.
really, really funny.
If you love they're so bad that they're great movies, this is like near the top. This is
Yeah.
like the room level of that. And if we're talking about background extras who are shocked that there's a movie happening, this is like also the pinnacle. Like there's legitimately people walking down like there's a fight in like a park that has a level above it, and you see people walking by genuinely like upset that there are people fighting and they don't know it's a movie.
Clearly, yeah.
Uh,
It clearly was made for like
yes.
$12. Yeah, it is. It is hilarious. It has some of the funniest writing and quote unquote acting that you'll see. It's like the ninja stuff is actually weirdly like the least interesting stuff in Miami
Yeah.
Connection. It's like
Yeah.
it's all
There's
the
like a
like
master evil ninja. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
ninja. It's a ninja biker gang. So
Yes,
they're
exactly.
they're the
Yeah.
bad guys. They're the bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, if I
Okay.
remember right, the premise is like they're drug dealers who hire ninjas, like a ninja
Yeah.
biker
There's like
gang.
three. There's like three factions. There's like the drug dealers who are semi kind of Italian. Um. There's like a couple guys with like Italian suits or whatever. But then there's the ninjas who are their own thing, and then there's our good guys who are more we're the peaceful martial artists who hopefully we don't have to fight. We train so we don't have to fight, and then they end up killing all these people.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Sounds
Um,
great.
yeah, totally worth seeing. And then the last one I want to mention had a kind of similar narrative, even more perplexing in some ways. That it's a movie called New York Ninja.
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
Have you heard about this? And this was a film that was discovered, the raw footage, I should say, was discovered by Vinegar Syndrome, which is a physical
Yeah,
media distributor
and
who
and they
do,
redubbed it all, didn't they?
yeah, they cut it to with they didn't have any sound. That was the thing. They found only the picture. And
Uh-huh.
so they watched it and they tried to figure out what the narrative might have been that from watching the footage, and which was about a ninja living in New York City. And so they cut it together and then they wrote new dialogue for it and brought in some actors, in fact, some well-known actors in some cases, to dub in that dialogue. And it is a really strange
Hmm.
Really strange movie and fascinating when you know that its road
Yes.
to
Yeah, yeah.
completion. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't quite reach the height of Miami Connection,
No.
but it's a lot. That one is a lot of fun, and I love the fact that they just had to replace all the audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like an improv exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. Perhaps they should have hired more comedians. Maybe it would have been better.
And we need the
Um,
work, so
um, well, thank you guys for joining me and I hope people feel newly inspired to track down some of these movies. If this is like
mhm.
if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know what any of these people are talking about, I would say
Shame on you.
if you're looking to laugh your ass off, go to Ninja 3.
Mhm.
If you are a genuine fan of like down and dirty action movies, I think try giving Revenge of the Ninja a spin
Hmm.
and you won't be disappointed. But really, with either movie, you can't go wrong. At the very least, you'll get a healthy injection of 80s goodness. As Nathan was
Oh,
Yeah.
saying, Ninja
so
3 is
good.
one of the most 80s things the fashions and the hair and the music. It's one of the most 80s things you'll see, right?
Absolutely.
I wouldn't
Uh,
watch any of them in front of children.
Yeah.
no.
I would say Ninja 3 is a little more safe, touch more safe in terms of that, but not by a huge amount.
Yeah. Although I turned out okay, I
You
Yeah.
think.
did. You
Yeah.
did.
Well, I mean, children can watch it, but don't you watch it in front of children because then you're gonna get like socially shamed or you're gonna feel bad
That's
for
true.
having corrupted them. But kids, feel free to sneak off and see these movies. Not a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
See
think
it on your own.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Children see it on your own without adult supervision.
Okay.
That's the best case.
And if that blows back, you can address all letters
Right.
to the
Well,
most excellent 80s movie
yes.
podcast.
I've been a long proponent of early childhood trauma. I feel like it's important to
It's
see
true.
your RoboCops or your Nightmare on Elm Streets early on and help shape your strange twisted worldviews.
Yeah. I mean, I think as a generation, Gen X mostly turned out okay.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of resilient people, and part of that was, the latchkey thing, and part of it was a sub category of that was the fact that we were watching TV and movies and we weren't being policed about
Yeah, we had no
what we were
business.
watched. Yeah.
Right.
And, I think most of us turned out okay. So,
I think so too.
yeah. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much again. If you're discovering this in the Long Rewind podcast, you should absolutely go over and subscribe to the most excellent 80s movie podcast because you'll love it. And vice versa. If you're hearing this on
Yes.
on their feed, then come join us over at the Long Rewind because I think you'll find it to be fun. Thank you so much, guys. This was super fun.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thank you.
us.
It was so great. I'm so glad I saw these movies and I have you to thank. Long Rewind. I love it.
Now you're a new lifelong Ninja fan, and
Hmm.
you're gonna go track down
Absolutely.
Hmm.
the complete canon, the complete canon.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go buy myself some throwing stars.
Hmm. Yeah, Chrissy, I think we should follow this up by doing Jim Cotta on the show.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Yeah, and then actually doing Jim Cotta in real life.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then doing it in real life. Oh,
I'm
the 1 year Jim Cotta challenge.
yes.
There's probably an app. There's probably an
Uh-huh.
app for it.
Uh-huh.
All right,
I'm
guys.
in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to our crossover with the Long Rewind podcast and our deep dive into ninjas. Thanks for being here at the end. We want to say, as always, if you love the podcast and you love our crossover episode, please like, rate, review, subscribe, thumbs up, tell a local ninja. Tell a local phone company worker who may or may not be possessed by an evil ninja about the pod. It really helps us. And tell them about the Long Rewind too while you're at it. And of course, if you want some bonus content and some extra fun, Be sure to become a member of the podcast. Go to truestory.fm and just click on our little podcast on the little button that says join, and you get extra special fun. You get episodes early and ad free. You get some extra special bonus content at the end of each episode, and you get to join the Discord and party with us. You can today in the bonus content, I'm going to be listing some of the movies that we might be doing coming up, and you can let us know which ones you think would be the most fun. We might do all of them, but you can let us know what order would be the most fun if you remember. And as always, when you're out there in the world, please keep the most excellent 80s movies podcast motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.